It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielson and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Oil Stream. Dusty and Tommy wrapping up a Friday here at Edmonton Sports Talk. It's been a fabulous week. It's been a very successful week for Edmonton Sports Talk. 6 o'clock or lager, buddy.
Hey,
how good have these been?
They're a very good beer, and huge thank you to Alley Cat. What a great launch party the other night. Seriously, that was so cool. I have to turn off my volume. I apologize. I have it.
Come on, Tommy, get it together.
I know. I should know by now. Great beer, great product, and to everybody that's out there, basically emptying the shelves at Sobeys and Safeway liquor stores, thank you. And I think now that people are tasting it, and you said it earlier, I think on, what was it? Earlier in the day, you were saying that people are actually finally giving their reviews, and it's positive. And we weren't BSing you. It is a very good beer. And then on Sobeys Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week with Scott, you guys were talking about the reviews, too. Fantastic. And let's go. Here to everybody who's selling this thing out like crazy.
It's amazing that this has been on the shelves for 1.5 days. Alley Cat has already started brewing more. Sobeys has already said that they need more. We've got bars reaching out who want to put it on tap.
Seriously?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then, and then they're talking about making possibly a permanent beer for Alley Cat. It'd be just the Alley Cat lager will be the 6 o'clocker lager.
It's so
which
good.
It's just amazing.
And then the label too. We met
the artists. It was awesome.
And,
it was
so cool. They had the big printouts, and we signed them.
Yeah, it was neat.
I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. It is fantastic, and crushable is definitely a great way to describe it. So I'm blown away. Thank you guys, you nasties out there. Just so cool, and everything that we've been able to do in the 3 months almost here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Humbling, but at the same time motivating too, and so exciting. Let's go. The Lost Aussie text and it says, "Hey Dusty and Maddie, I guess this would have come in right when we were wrapping up Fantasy Football 5. Is there any 6 o'clocker locker at the Sobeys liquor store in Wainwright? Please, I'd really like to get some. Lost Aussie, there should be. I mean, if there is a Sobeys or Safeway liquor store somewhere, it has had it. It might be sold out, but they're going to get more. But all across Alberta, I know there's people in Kelowna asking for it as well, but we'll see what we can eventually do out there. But it should be there. So go down to the Wainwright Sobeys liquor store, and you should be able to find the 6 o'clocker lager. And Scott said it earlier on Beer of the Week on the morning show. If you are wondering, and hit us up in the inbox or nasty chat, but you can get to Old Redbeard on Twitter, and I think he's pretty good at staying on top of it. He said to ask him. He's got quantities and where availability still is. Redbeard 9911. If you want to reach out to Scott directly.
Surveyor Brett says no Oilers talk. Tommy, hot date update, please.
Oh yeah, great date.
It was a nice date, eh?
Just a wonderful girl. Lots of layers to her, and beautiful on the outside, beautiful on the inside, and I look forward to hanging out with her again very soon. Great dinner, and it was after the
I love
the
you,
launch.
Man. You're the best.
What?
I don't know. I love you. I love your dating life, and I love it. I love all of it, man.
I love you too, very much for many reasons, but I didn't know that this would get that kind of response.
I love hearing you she's beautiful on the inside, she's beautiful on the outside.
She is.
It's amazing. It's great, man. I think it's great. People are going to say
it was a great
date. How long do you guys go out on a first date? Couple
it
hours, have dinner, and then take her home type of thing? Drop her off?
No, it was not take home.
This is her own way.
No, this isn't one of those
I didn't mean take home, but I meant drive her home, drop her off type of thing.
We met up
at
a restaurant.
Okay, all right. Nice.
The food was great. The vibe, it's a nice restaurant. It's a cool spot, and just a great conversation, and, easy on the eyes, easy conversation, just it was a great date for a couple of hours, and We just said, listen, we're doing this again because it was.
Yeah, well, really? Oh, just like that. So did you guys like confirm by the end of the first date, like, hey, we should do this again?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I didn't. I just kind of met Tam and got married. Like, it was just
I
like.
know. And there was no, like, we didn't make out or anything.
No,
There
make
was
out
nice
session.
little hug
People
and
were
like,
asking
listen,
for that.
I'll
Like,
see you later.
Little hug.
Didn't need a kiss on the cheek or
Nope.
anything. No.
Nope.
Didn't have to force anything. And
That's good.
And then just.
That's real nice.
Just send each other a message at the end of the night. Say, hey,
Yeah, that was
good.
really nice.
See you
It's a
soon.
fun night. Well, that's exciting.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I
excited
had
for
a
this.
really good Wednesday. That was an awesome Wednesday. And then, you know what? Thank you again for filling in.
How was
the
Bozone
postgame.
last night?
That was our
buck
best.
Down? Buck down?
We had 2 bucks down.
2 bucks down?
2 fresh bucks
What?
down. To anybody who tuned in the free preview of Wild TV and checked out Bozone Live for shits and giggles, thank you. And I don't smell like deer piss today. I told
Well,
the
because the
crew
show's over
yesterday-
now, you could shower.
Yeah,
right?
I showered,
Yeah.
right? So actually, one of the hunters came in, Zach Brown, who did have a buck down. He tagged out. His wife got
Tagged
a
out.
moose last week as well, and she came in, Jess. She was lovely. And then we had first time ever in studio, we had 2 co-hosts who were hunters with me, and then one of them came back, who was my co-host earlier in the week, because he had a buck down that the coyotes got to. Which is a thing. They're the piranhas of the prairies.
The piranhas of the prairies.
Yeah,
I
Daryl
love that.
Lake. And Daryl's a great character, a great hunter. And so we actually had 3 of our hunters in studio. Jason Moss sent a video message.
Buck
because
down?
He wasn't able to hunt this year because he had
Great guy.
other things
Yeah,
that
yeah,
he
yeah.
had to take care of.
He was hunting a championship.
He's going to get a big fat ring. And, good for him. Congratulations to Jason. He's a tremendous guy. Nice to see him rewarded as a head coach with a big win like that. It was our best show. It was our best season. And it was great to work with that crew over there. And I look forward to season 5.
When you go on a first date, and first of all, you know what would be a great place for a first date? One putt.
Yes.
Right? Why not? Go
I
hit the
think
links
so.
if you're it's just a nice way to sort of like
It's
have a
casual.
conversation, pretty
fun.
casual. You can have some drinks. There's going to be like other people there kind of around, so it might not just be solo. They also are hosting a one putt. This is I believe sign up closed yesterday. So if you're in on this, best of luck, everybody. You can hop online, find out more information. They got the 6 TrackMan bays, same technology they use on the PGA Tour. Visit www.oneputt, the number 1, and then the word putt.ca, or follow them on Insta at oneputtYag. And if you are in the scramble tournament that they put together here through the month of December, best of luck trying to get your hands on some of that prize pool, which was guaranteed at $1,000 by the crew over at Pump. I was thinking like a first date, go to one putt. That would be kind of nice.
is a good
When you
first
go
date.
on a first date, do you? And we got lots of time to get to the Oilers here. We certainly will. Do you have like a couple of go-to meals that like it's kind of light, like you don't want to pig out, obviously? Are you getting a salad? Are you getting like a handheld or a fork and knife meal? Like
handhelds, definitely I try to avoid.
I figured. See, I knew there'd be
Yeah.
strategy here.
Yeah,
so you try to
I've done
avoid
it before, and
so,
I'm like, it's a mess. I don't want to show them that side.
Yeah.
Yet. No, and also like the other night I had a really great Bianco pasta with it.
So this was you had a nice pasta
but I was saying to her, I was like, well, and I was starving, and I'm like, we're doing dinner. Like, let's do a good, nice date.
And that you had a couple beers at the thing.
Oh, I did,
So
yes.
you're probably a little hungry. Right?
I
Like,
was very hungry.
Yeah.
The stomach was kind of growling a little bit. And so I said, well, do I want steak frites? Do I want pasta? There was a nice gnocchi option. And I said to her, I was like, the steak frites looks good. And she's like, yeah, I might do a salad. I might do this. And then I was like, yeah, but this Bianco pasta looks really good. Or the gnocchi. And then I let her order, and she set the tone.
Smart move.
She got the steak frites.
What? And then you didn't follow it up?
I didn't want to copy, so I went with the pasta.
Damn. So how were the steak frites?
Really good. Oh, the steak frites there is great.
Real nice.
Huge basket of fries. She
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
finish them. I'm like, I'm so full with my pasta.
Yeah.
So I let the date.
She finished your pasta?
sit. No, I finished it.
Oh, okay. That'd
Couldn't
be
finish
cool
the
if you're like,
fries.
do you want to eat the rest of mine?
But
Yeah.
I avoid handhelds just because, like, I get in there and I think I'm a sloppy handheld guy, so I don't.
I remember Tam and I, our first date ever, we went to the movie Leatherheads, and it sucked. If I wasn't on the first date, we would have walked out. Second, I think it was the second date, or maybe it was like prior to going to the movie in the first date, but we went to a Podolin Pub in Fort Mac. Anybody who knows Fort Mac, Podolin Pub. Anyway, we went there and we ordered nachos. We were going to share nachos. and I didn't want to say anything, but I hate like all the stuff on nachos.
Olives.
Like I just like cheese and beef or chicken. That's it. So
No
I'm
salsa?
no salsa,
Oh.
no sour cream. I don't dip. No, what's the green thing? What's the green sauce?
Avocado.
Avocado dip.
Guacamole.
Guacamole. Like I don't want to do that, and I don't like having like the tomatoes on there or anything on there. So we had this huge ass plate of nachos. And I was just like digging around the edges. Like I couldn't even suck up the nachos to try to impress her on our first date. I was just like, I'll take this one over here and this one over
one has a
here.
little cheese on
It was
it.
a real mess. But, I ended up tricking her into marrying me anyway. So
It worked
that
out
was
real nice. Tam's awesome.
Yeah, she's really good.
I
Yeah.
thought the story, by the way, the story of the Muzz threatening
Marshall
with the agenda kick / stomp was brilliant. And then it was cool that Tam got to teach the Muzz.
She taught her this
subbing.
week. She said she was really good.
Yeah.
If you missed it on my show this morning, just because if you're only listening to Stream Podcast, Elizabeth runs our house. She's 6. She's by far the coolest person in our house. She dresses way cooler than everybody else in our house. She has swag. Like, I'm very proud of her. She's more confident than I've ever been in my entire life. So she comes walking over last night. Marcel and I are watching the hockey game. Ties it into the Oilers. We're watching second period. Muzz comes walking over, and I didn't even know that Marshall's agenda was on the floor, but his school agenda was on the floor. And she comes walking over, and she goes, "Marshall, do you want me to step on your agenda?" Yeah. And Marshall goes, "No." And she goes, "Well, then why is it on the floor?"
That is
I was just like,
so
damn,
passive-aggressive.
oh, yeah, she's the best, man. And she's going to be
sassy.
back on the ice here right away, too. Look out, you 7. You got a healthy Muzz going to be terrorizing with the White Mud West U7.
That arm is healed nicely.
Yeah, it's going to be ready to go. Ready to go. All right, let's get into it here. The Edmonton Oilers getting the job done against Winnipeg last night. And Tommy, I've mentioned it a number of times here at Edmonton Sports Talk today, and I really think it's probably the most important thing about this stretch that they've been on, and that is the fact that they've won 4 games in different ways.
Yeah.
All 4 games have been different ways. Like, very tidy, impressive 5-0 win against the Washington team. Then they get the Ducks, and the Ducks are awful right now. Boom, 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 point night. Everybody's loving it. Then they play a pretty darn good game against Vegas, but they let it slip away. But they didn't let it slip all the way away. They end up winning it in the shootout. And then last night, they're down 1-0. Maybe the least likely of the games with the way it was going that you think they were going to win because it's a low-scoring game. Are they going to find that one goal? And they found the one goal. Then they found another one. Then they found an empty netter. And they end up beating Winnipeg 3-1. A bad goal by Hellebuck kind of gave them life. And at that point when that went in, everybody in Winnipeg must have been like, oh, no, because this isn't going to end well now.
Right, and they were very persistent. Like you saw them attack in waves, which I thought was good, and they didn't let up. They had a ton of shots. Skinner was good. It's funny
Skinner was good last night.
Yeah,
he
really
made
good some great
saves.
and like watching it over again this morning, it's like they seem to be defending decently well. Like the communication is starting to come around. Assignments are being picked up, and there's less pointing. These are good signs. This is a good Winnipeg team. I know they had dropped their last couple of games, but they had been playing well for the most part this season. And I know that Velarde coming back, that's good for them and all that. But the fact the Oilers got down and they kept going, they attacked, they got the saves from Skinner. And then they finally, that Nurse goal was not a good goal, obviously. But the fact that shot went in, you're like, oh, maybe, maybe it's meant to be. And so I liked a lot of elements of that win yesterday. And Ryan McLeod with the multi-point game, and he slayed the Dragon because we're not using Schneid anymore.
Slayed the Dragon is good here at Edmonton Sports.
Right. So a lot to like, and you're right about this last little stretch. It's imperfect, absolutely. Does it appease everyone? No. I think ultimately, though, another 2 points, 4 in a row, that kind of calms the nerves. But the work obviously is not done. The test coming up in 5 days, which is bizarre, is going to be a big one. The Oilers need to atone for how poorly they played in Carolina. Maybe it's setting up nicely for them. And you know what? Good. They're chipping away at this terrible situation that they created for themselves. So good vibes right now. Lots to like about yesterday. Lots to like about the last week in the body of work. I think we're witnessing a team that is on the verge of making a run to get back into the wild card.
Are they back? Did you see them as back?
I think, you know what? I'll say yes. Like
McDavid's back.
A few weeks ago when they lost to Nashville, I'm like, I'm off the wagon.
Yeah, you did.
I'm still off the wagon.
Okay.
But I can admit, I think that they've found their swagger back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That goal by Draisaitl, I think, is an indicator. The fact that they stuck with it against the Golden Knights, even though they pissed away a 2-goal lead in the last 6.5 minutes, got the win. Again, didn't make everybody comfortable or too happy, but it was they accomplished the mission. That is 2 points. Yeah, to an extent, they're back. I'll give them credit because I talked about the mood from the team after Tuesday's game, being in the locker room, working post game. Yeah, they know they have their work cut out for them, but I like the attitude and the vibe that they're giving off right now, and I got a sense of that in the room the other day.
This text is in and says, if Dusty was single, he took me to play sim golf and he had a chin strap.
Hot.
I got a beard right now. I don't have a chin strap.
No, it's good. It's coming in nice.
I do an okay beard,
You look
man.
very relaxed.
I do an okay beard.
I'm wearing the Cool Bet hat or T-shirt today.
Yeah,
You've got the hat. I tried on the gear that Patty and the
nice
boys
too,
hooked us up. That is the hat is perfect for golf. It's simple,
yeah. Same with that white one. The white one will look really good on the course.
Those are definite keepers, and the gear is awesome from them this time around. Thank you to the Cool Bet crew, but the hat, I love it, and the bend. I know you just put more of a curve on it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It has
right
a
now.
nice curve
it
to
does.
begin with, and the fit super nice. So thank you guys.
People ask, they're wondering if you're on time for your dates. Were you late for your date?
No, I was pretty close.
You showed so
she
let's
was
say
already-
you guys are going
she
to meet
was
at
already there.
8 o'clock.
7:30.
7:30. Oh, so you went straight. Well, you were with
I went
us
home
till
and
at least
changed.
You went home and changed?
Yeah.
Oh, you had to have been late.
By like a minute.
Yeah, because I left Alley Cat at like 7:05.
I left at 6:48.
You were gone when I left?
I stuck.
I thought you were still there when I left.
Classic
Okay.
Lieutenant Eric Irish.
Yeah,
goodbye.
you ghosted straight out. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
I thought you were
had
still
to.
there when I left. I thought you would have been late for
I
sure.
had to say bye to Belsey because he showed up.
Yeah, Belsey got in.
showed up here thinking that the event was
Oh,
here.
no.
And then he's
It was way away from
Yeah,
here.
and he tried calling me, and I was like mid-conversation. I was like, oh, no, Belsey. So, yeah, it was good. I got there at 7:31, and I saw her in the window, and she was just
She was already seated?
I waved to her, and she's like, oh, hey.
No, but if she got there 10 minutes early, that means she was waiting 11 minutes for you, dude.
There was no complaints.
I would always try to
I'm
arrive
assuming
5
it's all
minutes
good.
before everything.
That's a good way to go about
Right.
it. For me, 5 minutes before doesn't exist. So, Dave 0904, I don't like your attitude, Tommy. I apologize. I don't know what I did wrong. To my brother, I apologize. Yeah,
I apologize.
I did something.
That works out. Out pretty
I
well.
don't
Portions of the Oil Stream today and every day are brought to you by our great partners at Boston Pizza. Watch the Oilers at Boston Pizza. $5 off medium pizzas, $1 off tankards of Canadian or Coors Light. I'm actually already emailing back and forth with Tara trying to get the
Let's go, Tara.
Trying to get the 6 o'clocker lager into a few Boston Pizza locations as well. If you have a bar that you would like the 6 o'clocker lager in, let us know because we're going to run kegs on this next run, some of them, and we'll be able to get them to you and we can put it on tap. Can you imagine a 6 o'clocker lager, the tap thing, like at the top?
So cool.
The design, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be amazing.
Like,
I'm still blown away that we have our logo on a beer with this sweet emblem on the front, and then Alley Cat. Like, it's just a conglomerate of cool
it's so
things.
cool. It's kind of neat. 550 shots of Fireball, Jaeger, Burt Reynolds, Purple Rain, and Honey Jack as well at Boston Pizza for the Oilers games. This text is in from Eden. Says the Oilers stuck with the game plan and played a full 60. That is how they need to play in the postseason. Right? Like, that was the first thing Huss said today when he got in the lock shop. He goes, that was like watching a playoff game last night, man. And it really was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Two good teams back and forth. Guys, it didn't seem like a typical Thursday night game. Like, these two teams have a good thing going against one another, and they get up for playing against each other. And I just thought it was a good battle back and forth, and good for the Oilers, hanging in there, sticking with it, not getting down, and being rewarded. Albeit somewhat lucky, but you take it, you work for your breaks. They got them. That was good. That was a good win.
Let's get to a few more of your messages here. Andy says, best performance of the season last night. The game felt like it was a bit of a turning point. Ceci and Nurse were fantastic. Great to see each contribute in a different way. And last night on the postgame show, people were like, Cody, Ceci, worth every single penny. People are loving what they're seeing.
Good.
He was +2 last night. Played over 24 minutes.
Yeah.
For just over $3.1 million. When Ceci is on, man, he is worth the $3 million for sure. Beyond that, when he's playing as steady as he has been for the most part. Like, how many times you've done the majority of the post-game shows? How many times have you guys come in and said something bad about Cody Ceci this year?
We have said bad things about Cody.
How much?
Ceci.
How often?
This year, not at all.
Yeah,
really.
like this year. That's what I mean. This year,
maybe a couple of moments earlier in the season, but again, him and Kulak have been very steady. Kulak had a rough start. I think the first 4 or 5 games for Kulak weren't particularly great. They weren't great for a lot of guys, obviously, but CC's back to being the guy we watched 2 seasons ago. I know he didn't have a great year last year.
Wasn't he hurt last year?
Yes, but he had rough nights. This year, he's just back to being steady Eddie. So that's why they gave him that contract. He's not a sexy offensive defenseman at all. He's just reliable. And you can't have too many good, solid NHL players in their prime on any team. And at a respectable price point, good bang for your buck. So nice to see him get some recognition because he's a guy that flies under the radar.
What does an empty netter do for Ryan McLeod, do you think?
It went in.
A
he
goal
shot
is a
it
goal.
in. You saw the big, smile on his face, the toothless grin. I think a little bit of relief, and obviously he'd probably want to bury one with a goalie in net. But at this point, after not scoring since, March, and 30, it almost got to 40 games, right?
Yeah, it was 38 going into last night.
Good. Relief, and then maybe that gives him a little bit of confidence to take pucks to the net, use that shot of his, or maybe even score an ugly, greasy goal. But I think just the fact that you get one probably creates a little bit of relief, and good. He had a 2-point night, and he's been better of late. He had a 2-game heater not long ago, earlier in the week that we were talking about, and now he's got a multi-point game under his belt, and maybe this spurs him on to start playing like a true third-line center in the National Hockey League.
Want to quickly pass along to the guy who's asking if the beer is in Wainwright. I see Scott on Twitter said it'll be there in 40 minutes.
Oh,
so
nice.
I feel like Scott's
loading
up
all
6
over
o'clock lager and driving to Wainwright right now.
Scott's going to go up to St. Albert.
This has been a
over
nightmare.
to Wainwright, down to Wainwright, through Camrose, back up through Beaumont. I don't even know if there's a location.
You're doing the Chris Farley in Wayne's World when he's like, we're driving back around to Chicago.
Yeah, and Wilmette and Milwaukee.
Eric says, Ceci had one bad pinch this season, and that's like all I can remember.
He also had the one play yesterday where there was a bad cross-ice pass. He tried to catch it through his legs. Puck caromed off the wall, and then I think it was Kyle Connor went in on a partial break, but big save by Skinner.
The only other one that jumps out to me was the backdoor tap into Teravainen, where he had him behind the net, and then thought they had the puck and sort of jumped up, and it didn't work out. But
they've let in so many goals.
Pretty few though for Ceci, man. Bouchard and Nurse, obviously not recently with Nurse, he's been outstanding. Those guys have taken a little bit more heat than. That's
hello, Eric.
Nice. You out here, buddy?
Oh.
Oh, okay. Eric's just picking up his keys, so that was nice.
Yeah, that was adorable.
Yeah, it just kind of rolled right in. Andy says, Nurse making higher percentage plays makes such a difference to the CC Nurse pair. Ekholm's done a great job with Bouchard, and his clearance to prevent a Jets breakaway last night was epic. Like their top 4, and now I will say their top 4 are playing a ton. I mean, they're playing 22, 24 minutes tonight, all 4 of those guys. But when they're playing as well as they're playing right now, I don't see why you wouldn't try to. I mean, you got to find some breaks for them here or there, but all 4 of those guys are logging a ton of ice time right now.
Yeah. True. Maybe. Well, there's been some games, though, where they've been able to spread it out, especially the one like the Anaheim game where things are in hand.
Yeah, you can mix it up a little bit.
Even the Washington game, things are going well. You can kind of get the third and fourth lines going and bottom pairing going as well. Andy Pandy says, Tommy, that was an awful pass by Dry on that occasion. Andy Pandy, yes, absolutely. It launched a grenade at CC, so not all his fault. Good point.
Mark is in and says, Mark, are you a Nasty Club member? I'm just curious. For some reason, I feel like you're a Nasty Club member. Anyway, Dusty, you tweeted, thankfully this should take the Oilers out of the mix in regard to Samuel Montembeault signing today. Which goaltender would you target? Well, Montembeault getting over 3.1 I mean, it'd probably take them out of the mix. And I know, like, some of the analytics early in the season are saying that he's playing really well behind a garbage Montreal team. But the dude was claimed off waivers 2 years ago. His career save percentage is .897.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going out. And I saw somebody be like, well, you have to send Jack Campbell to him and then add a ton to it. And I'm like, well, the only reason you would be adding to it is because you have to get them to take Jack Campbell's salary. Montembeault is not coming in here and looking any better than Stuart Skinner. I hate to pump the brakes on the analytical goaltending numbers. I'm not sure there's many goaltenders out there that are going to come in here and be better than Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner is your best chance at a Stanley Cup. Like, tell me a goalie that would actually legitimately be available. And you could say the Jake Allens and these guys. I don't mind Jake Allen.
I dislike
You dislike Jake Allen?
I don't like the Jake
Wow,
Allen.
you really don't like Jake Allen.
I don't think Jake Allen is a pillar in net at all.
But they're not going to find a pillar. Like, you're not finding a pillar. Merzlikins isn't a pillar. Montembeault's not a pillar. Jake Allen's not a pillar. Jake Allen's somehow salvaged relatively decent numbers behind a pretty garbage Habs team for the last few years.
Yeah,
So you don't like him at all. So you cross him right off the list.
Yeah.
So you're a James Reimer guy.
Not really. Like, it's not a
this
great
is what I mean.
list. Like, we're talking about Montembeault, and we're like, is this the guy? And you're like, that's not a very appeasing. Like, you have to talk yourself into, like, these different goaltenders. You're like, well, he's good because of this. I guess he's better than anything's better than Jack Campbell the way he was playing before he got sent down. The options are not great. I know Campbell's been playing better lately, and there's like, do you bring him back up? There's no rush. Let him play. I think the Condors have a couple of games this weekend. I'm sure Campbell will play it one, maybe both.
Because his last three have been decent, right?
Good. Give him time. There's no rush. I don't know, Dusty. Like, I
don't think you're trading for a goaltender that's coming in here and all of a sudden Stuart Skinner's going to be your backup. I don't think that happens.
No. And the more they win, the less tension there is, the less urgency to go out there and try to force something there is. So that's what this winning of late has done. People are texting in, who are the Oilers scouting from the Blue Jackets? I'm assuming everybody, because you're going to be able to pick away at the corpse of the Columbus Blue Jackets right away here. And try to they're going to be in a terrible, unenviable position if they continue to play the way that they have for the most part this season, where you can start to force them into bad deals where they get fleeced. Where, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the Oilers, potential goalie move. Well, what do you got to do? You got to juice it up with this, that, and that. That's what I think is happening. They're probably recognizing a team that's vulnerable in the Columbus Blue Jackets and keeping an eye on everything. And then if something shakes loose, they jump at it, because the Oilers are going to need better depth in the stretch. They're going to need another defenseman. They're going to need another forward on the bottom six. Definitely, if they want to make a postseason run, if they get to the postseason, if they get back into the mix, which they're on track to do right now, which is nice.
Here's the numbers on Stuart Skinner. He has won 7 of his last 9 games. Okay? In those 9 games, save percentage of .944, 4-1 win. Save percentage of .970, 4-1 win. Save percentage of .914, 4-3 overtime win. .783 loss, .667 loss. Those are those 2 games against Tampa and Carolina. The last 4 games, shutout, win 5-0. .913 save percentage in the 8-2 win. .852 save percentage in the Vegas game, and a .962 save percentage last night. So he's won 7 of his last 9. He's at over 9. He's at a save percentage of .913 or better in all of those wins. And Craig Button said it this morning on our show that in those 7 wins overall through those 7 games, his save percentage is .935 in those 7 wins. Now there's the two games in there where he didn't play great. The one he got yanked in.
Yeah.
So those numbers at 667, there's like no time to recover. He only played the 14 minutes. The game against Tampa, but what I'm saying here is that, everybody's looking at, why are they doing better? Why are they doing better? Why are they doing better? Well, part of the reason they're doing better is that in 7 of their last 9 games, their goaltenders had .935 save percentage over it. Like, you're gonna go out and find somebody that does better than that? I mean,
I think the goalie market's a crapshoot, to be honest with you. I guess that's what in summary, that's how I see it. Like, Allen, no. Montembeault, Reimer, I don't know. Like, not sexy.
What have any of these guys done? Like, you're not going out there and finding some guy who's led a team to a Stanley Cup championship. You're finding a bunch of guys who really haven't accomplished much from a success standpoint in their National Hockey League career. When you could just roll with this guy who's in his second full season and is starting to get his game back on track right now. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Sonny D's like, how about Gibson? Get creative like Dubas. Oh, okay. Now, hypothetical, like Sonny D. Gibson's a great goalie, obviously. We know that. And
by the way, the Toronto Maple Leafs have you're talking, I guess you would be talking get creative like Dubas.
Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Because, like, Carlson, the way he brought Carlson in, made the space work and all that.
That's different than a goalie.
And then Dubas did have an impressive trade deadline this past year with Toronto. It didn't turn into the results. Well, it did. They got the playoff win against Tampa, which was good. But that was it after the second round. But okay, so Sonny
just so we know, Dubas's Penguins are 7th in the National Hockey League right now.
Yeah.
So he might have got creative, but it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Right. So.
But Sonny D's saying, how about Gibson and get creative like Dubas? I'm willing to entertain this thought and go with a hypothetical from Sonny D. Gibson's name obviously is one we've heard many times, especially with Anaheim being what they are as a franchise, kind of spoiling a really good goalie in John Gibson. Say, hypothetical, really want to emphasize that. Say you do make a play for Gibson, you get creative like Dubas, and you land him. And you find a way to move out Campbell's contract, and you do give up a little bit more, and you got Gibson and Skinner. If Skinner, who's having a great run, like you pointed,
he's been really good in 7 of 9.
I thought he was great last night. If you do bring in Gibson and you have Skinner's supposed to be your guy for the foreseeable future. You mentioned he's in his second full year. He's a Calder finalist last year. He's an all-star. Granted, he filled in for someone. Still an all-star. And he's finding his game. A, what message would that send to Stuart Skinner? B, like, your goaltending talent would be excellent. I know that. But then for John Gibson, like, how comfortable are you? You're worried because you're looking over your shoulder. Like, I think it would create a tough predicament in net. And it would be a great tandem, but I think you would create more problems than solutions, especially if both of them are unhappy and it leads to poor play. I don't think it would, but this is totally hypothetical.
2 things on this. One, Stuart Skinner's been better since Jack Campbell was sent down. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's because he knows the net's his, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
And also, John Gibson has a modified no-trade clause, and I'm almost 100% certain the modified no-trade clause would probably have Edmonton being on a no-trade list.
That's a good point.
So there's that for you as well.
We're playing the hypothetical game.
Yeah.
And I like Gibson.
The key here for the Oilers would be, I think in a perfect world, you somehow move Campbell's contract. Yeah. You spend about $1.5 million on that on one of these veteran guys who comes in here, but you tell Stuart Skinner, you're the guy. These guys are coming in to solidify the 1B/backup spot. And then you spend the other $3.5 million to try to, get somebody that can play it's more soundly defensively than Desharnais come playoff time, and a bottom 6 forward. That's what you need to do. You need to somehow turn Jack Campbell's $5.5 million into a goalie, a third pair of defensemen, and a bottom 6 forward, which you could get for $5.5 million. Right? Could you not?
I think so. That's a perfect world. But, yeah.
It's going to cost you different things along the way, obviously. But I think that cap space could be enough
could be utilized,
to utilize on an upgrade on Pickard, essentially.
Yeah.
An upgrade on Desharnais. And so that's why you might see them have to just tag so much along with Campbell to move that salary out, right? Like, you pay that significant price, but if you have the deals in place to bring in, for example, no, Bukestad probably makes a little too much 2.1,
he's like
1.1,
2.1,
1.1.
right?
It'd be close depending on how much you have to pay for defenseman.
Again,
But you'd be freeing up that
if he would come
space.
back here, which I think would be tremendous, obviously. But what was I going to add to that? I was going to add something there. I lost it. It'll come back to me. My apologies.
Eric is in and says, "Oh God, Skinner is not a 1A." I mean, I think
Neither is
I don't know.
Aiden Hill.
We're trying to run a goalie out of town here. Like, yeah, exactly. Aiden Hill got an all-time heater last year.
He's making double what Skinner's making.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah, he's like $5 million for the next two.
Little reward there, I guess. He might not. Well, that's why I said 1A because to me, Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, those guys, UC Saros, they're ones. Mm-hmm. There's no 1B there. So to me, there's like the ones. 12 teams in the league have a 1.
Yeah, it's like the number 1 D-man type of class.
Yeah, it's the same type of thing. Like, are there 32 number 1 goalies in the NHL? No. There's 32 starters. There's probably 12 number 1 goalies. And then I classify a bunch of guys as 1As, and I would put Stuart Skinner in as a 1A. So I'll politely disagree with the take there. But maybe you can see it differently when I lay it out the way that I laid that out. Tommy, how would you rank the 4 wins on level of impressiveness that they just got? I did it last night. I want to see where you come out on it.
Gotcha. I think yesterday was number 1 with just like how they, again, waves, persistence, determination, I think is a nice way to sum it up. I did really like the Washington win. Like, the Caps were riding high. Yes, the Oilers took advantage of the Caps laying an egg, but I think, part of it was how good Edmonton came out, and they recognized that if they kept the throttle down, that they could actually walk away with a convincing win, and they did. They didn't give Washington a ton, and whenever Washington did get opportunities, the Oilers, A, defended well, or B, got the saves from Stuart Skinner. So that was the second best win in this little run. The Golden Knights won just because it is the Golden Knights, and they hung in there too, even though they almost pissed it away in the last 6 minutes. Didn't touch the puck for the first 3 minutes of OT, but still got the win. Yes, Marchessault missed the net on his attempt, and yes, Jack Eichel hit the post on his attempt, but Nugent-Hopkins and McDavid scored nice goals on their opportunities. Yes, the Golden Knights were on a back-to-back. Yes, the Golden Knights have struggled to score. Yes, the Oilers almost lost it, but that one, because it was the Golden Knights, the mental hurdles, the redemption for the playoff loss, that would be number 3. And then the Anaheim win didn't start out great, and then they just cruised, and the Ducks are a mess. So
exact same order.
Great minds.
As the saying goes, I was gonna say, handsome men think alike.
They do.
That's what I was gonna say. But this kind of shows how good the stretch has been, because a game in which they scored 8 goals, we put at the bottom of the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the other games, Vegas was a big win, probably up here for the Edmonton Oilers, and they didn't lose it after letting it slip away. Washington was just a near perfect hockey game. And then the game last night against Winnipeg, they played really well, right? So these are 4 very impressive wins. Your questions, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Dave is asking, hey, guys, exactly why haven't they sent Broberg down just yet? Tommy, any sort of thoughts and insight on that one? I guess because they can keep him up right now.
Yeah,
so.
Maybe they're just keeping him around. If things go sideways or they feel like Broberg could, like, if Desharnais has a tough night or something like that, and they think they need a guy whose feet move better, maybe they throw Broberg in there. I don't think they want him down in the minors either. I think they prefer he's playing NHL games, contributing up here. Team's playing well. You're not going to tweak too much. So, I don't know. Broberg's in a jam. I still think at some point we could see him moved. This is just my opinion, though.
Jason says Edmonton doesn't have a goalie in their system. Is Olivier Rodrigue still too inexperienced?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's starting to put himself on the map. If he keeps playing well, then how do you not pay attention to him and go, well, look what we've done. We've developed this guy. We drafted him. He's playing really well. He's finding his groove at the AHL level. Eventually, like, you might have a pleasant surprise on your hands. Binnington was like the 4th or 5th goalie in the Blues system at one point. Logan Thompson, same thing. He was the starter in Henderson a year and a half ago, and then now he was an all-star last year, and he got hurt, I think it was, and Skinner took his spot in And then now he's working as a tandem with Aiden Hill. Like, things can change, and this is a good problem to have. Maybe they have something in Olivier Rodrigue.
Well, but we need to realize they have a goalie in the system. He's their number one goalie, and he's in his second year in the National Hockey League, and he was a Calder finalist last year.
This is true, too.
Like, they have a young, future number one goaltender here. That's how they see it right now. Now, with that being said, there's still no way I would have traded that pick and not taking Jesper Wallstedt when he fell to you at 19 and they ended up trading down two spots. And the team that they traded with ended up taking him, and they get Xavier Bourgault, which they didn't need more forwards at the time. But
I'm trying to remember how it went. I don't think their scouting report on Wallstedt, if I'm remembering this correctly, I don't know if it was like the personality or the mindset, something about Wallstedt's demeanor kind of threw teams off, if I'm remembering this correctly. And then I think the Oilers liked Kosa. Obviously, he was in their backyard playing for the Oil Kings and on a really good team. And
Detroit got him.
Detroit got to him, and I think there was a chance that maybe they would have gone for Kosa. Wallstedt wasn't their guy. That bottom line, I was told, Wallstedt's not our guy. There's some issues there that we're kind of leery of, and I know fans didn't like it. I understand that too. I'm like, well, if he's clearly the next best goalie and you don't think the pipeline of goaltenders is good in your organization, why wouldn't you go get him and try to work through these things? They missed out on Askarov to Nashville a couple years prior, so I think that's how it was explained to me a couple years ago.
people are asking your thoughts on Elvis Merzlikins.
That would be an interesting that would be an upgrade in that, obviously. Like, not to Skinner, but that would make the tandem better. And I think that there would be more harmony than a hypothetical Gibson-Skinner.
Yeah, like all these guys, I saw people, I think last night, the post game or somewhere, two guys or whatever, they're like, Merzlikins, go get Merzlikins. Merzlikins just, I mean, here's his last 3 years. And I know it's with Columbus. Yeah. I get it. Goals against average of 3.22, save percentage of 907. Last year, save percentage of 876, 4.23. This year, a save percentage of 907 and a 311. Whereas Stuart Skinner last year, in his career, he's 907. He was 914 last year. Yep. Like, you're not getting a goaltender that's better than Stuart Skinner coming in here. You're getting a guy you're looking for a guy who you hope is steadier than Jack Campbell. That's all you're looking for. Yeah. I don't think you're not going out and trading for a goalie. I don't think they realize that. I don't know. I think Stuart Skinner is about as good as you're going to get in between the pipes this season.
I think he's going to get better too. He's young.
Well, he should get better. Yeah. He started 81 games in the National Hockey League. There's when people. That's why it always blows my mind. Like, they don't have anybody in the system. Their guy in the system's their number one guy right now. And he's 25 years old. True. Like, you're not rolling out a lot of 22-year-old goalies between the pipes. You're going to turn your seat. Like, somebody was also saying that. What about Mackenzie Blackwood? All right.
That was a name that was being thrown around a lot when things were at the depths. Like, when they lost to Blackwood and the Sharks. And it was like, yeah, no, I understand that.
Let me roll out Mackenzie Blackwood for you. This year he's got a 903 in San Jose, which is almost a miracle. Yep. Last year with New Jersey, 893. The year before with New Jersey, 892. Yeah. Hey, I just don't understand how everybody thinks they're going to find these guys that are come in and they're going to be significantly better than Stuart Skinner. Like, it's not happening. It's some sort of weird pipe dream that I just don't understand.
A longing for more, I think.
On 32 Thoughts today, Friedman said the Oilers are looking at Columbus, goaltending, and the whole roster. Boys, where there is smoke, there is fire. Yeah, that's fine, but I'm just saying Merzlikins, like, they're not bringing in Merzlikins and you're like, well, Stuart Skinner's the backup now. That's not happening. Oh, and you know why? Because none of these guys are significantly better than Stuart Skinner. It's just, I feel it's like the team has a few breakdowns, and like, what was a bad goal he let in recently? The second one, what was the one where his pad went up?
That was against
Anaheim. It was the second goal against Anaheim.
What was his name? Second goal of the game.
Jones.
Max Jones.
It's Jones. Yeah. That one, you're like, damn, that's a bad goal.
I wanted a save on the Ben Hutton shot. That was me. Maybe I'm being demanding, but there was the misfire between Ernie and Desharnais where They both went for the puck, and it squirted out to Hutton. Hutton kind of – remember you were talking about how Ernie was kind of in that sweet spot where he was not close enough to Hutton on the shot and just far enough back where it might have created a bit of a screen. Hutton made a nice shot on it too, far post. I still would have liked to save on that, but that's me being picky.
I also think you say with almost all goalies, when they do allow goals, there's usually like one you're like, you probably could have played that one better.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like every single goalie only allows grade A, beautiful, no chance scoring. Look at Connor Hellebuck last night. Connor Hellebuck was absolutely bloody amazing last night and still let in a goal that would probably have been the worst goal Skinner let in all season.
Jack Campbell.
Really? I mean, like...
If Jack Campbell did what Connor Hellebuck did last night on the Darnell Nurse goal, he would have been... Somebody would have been taking him out of Edmonton in an F-150, not even a limo, getting him to the airport and saying, here's your ticket to Bakersfield. You know what? Here's your ticket to Wichita. That's how bad that goal was.
Portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. If you haven't been able to tell yet on Edmonton Sports Talk, we're sitting inside the Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen studio where they have dropped 5 flavors of wings on you. Big, breaded, delicious wings. They got the honey barbecue. They got the signature. They got the ghost pepper. They got the parmesan, the garlic parmesan, and they got the honey garlic.
Yep.
And you can't go wrong with any of them. Like, we're not going to lead you astray. We're not going to go tell you something to try something that's not good. No. The wings at Popeyes are absolutely delicious. DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats. New location opening up on the West End where the Red Robins used to be. Should be open by the end of December. What do you make of Frank Saravalli having Warren Fogle on his 20 guys who could be available trade list?
Couple things. Francis is very good at what he does, and I admire and respect him as a friend and colleague and peer. And anytime you have any kind of Oiler involved, it gets attention.
Yeah.
Let's look at Warren Fogle's situation right now. I think UFA at the end of this season. He's working hard because he wants that next contract. He's in the heart of and prime of his career, so understandable that he's more motivated. He's been getting some results. I like the hustle. I don't know if he's going to get $2.75 million ever again, unless he just pops off.
Probably not. No, this was probably his peak contract.
So I think it's a logical name to put in there because I think Warren Fogle, for a lot of teams and playoff teams, would be a useful bottom 6 guy that can moonlight for periods, small ones, in the top 6. You're not going to get a ton of results, but he'll do the right things. He'll go into the corners. He's not going to win all the battles, but he's quick, and he has some hands. Can't finish, obviously. Gets his 10 and 10, 20 to 30-point range. But I think one of the teams that could also use him is the Edmonton Oilers. So a couple of things. Good point by Frank, because logically a team could and probably would use Warren Fogle. And if the Oilers are out of it, that's somebody you'd probably move on from and try to get assets back for. But I think Edmonton probably wants to keep him around too. At the price point that they have him at, no, unlikely. So it makes sense. Makes sense on a few fronts. That's what I think of that.
I find it only makes sense to me in a few different ways. By the way, Silver Brett's right. Let's hammer that thumbs up button here.
Oh, thank you,
on the Oil Stream today. That would be great. We'd appreciate that. The more thumbs up things get, the more they get tossed out into the algorithm, and the more our content will pop up on other people's YouTube stuff and help grow what we're growing here.
Yeah.
The only way I see them moving Fogle is if it is for something in the bottom 6. I don't think you can move Fogle's cap space. I don't think you can trade Fogle for a goaltender, let's say, and nothing else. Because your bottom 6 is already, to me, your bottom 6 is still let's see. If you take Fogle out of it, then I guess you're replacing him with Adam Ernie on a regular basis for 10, 12 minutes a night. And your bottom 6, the one area you can't weaken up front is your bottom 6.
Fair.
You just can't. So if you're trading Fogle, it would have to be, and I know people say, well, just call up Raphael Lavoie. But Raphael Lavoie, first of all, the hands and feet aren't connected yet at a National Hockey League level. I see him want to do a bunch of stuff with his hands, but his feet stop moving. And you can do that in the American Hockey League, but in the NHL, it's never going to work. So until that clicks for him, and it might, and then it will work. But I think there's still some elements to his game. You're not throwing Raphael Lavoie into your bottom six to move out Fogle to improve your third pair on the blue line. Because then your bottom six is just, it's a non-factor. It's barely a factor now. And if you take out arguably the best bottom six forward you have, or close to it, I feel like what's the saying? You're cutting off your face to fix your leg or something, or spite your face. Cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Oh,
is that what it is?
Is that it?
It's a saying. It's a nose and a face saying. I can't remember what it is.
6 of one and a half dozen of another.
I mean, that's a good one too. I like you're cutting off. I think it's somebody tell me. Is it cutting off your nose?
The idiom?
In spite of your face or something like that?
Metaphor, whatever it's called.
Anyway, if they have a plan, like if you can somehow turn him into a $1.5 million cap at goalie and a $1.5 million bottom six forward that you think can be as impactful, that's great. I'm just saying there's no other option in the bottom six here that all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, you can move Fogle. I mean, it may be if Holloway was healthy. Then maybe you could talk about it. But even Holloway can't bring the oomph that Fogle brings to the bottom six.
Fogle, here, look at Fogle. He's a veteran. He's been on good teams. Someone, I think it was Terry Wong, said, I want consistency in a goalie.
Now, let me just say this about Terry Wong, one of the most consistent ball hockey goalies I ever played with.
I respect
Terry,
that.
Great. Doesn't look overly intimidating, but extremely consistent between the pipes.
But to use that term, you get consistency from Fogle. Is it appealing? Is it flash? No, it's not. But he is a veteran NHLer. And I think it was Pat Maroon's bib said, would you guys see Fogle getting moved before Holloway is ready to come back? I think the Oilers would probably prefer to have Fogle in the lineup and Holloway in the lineup and make sure that they have a solid lineup depth-wise as opposed to moving one guy out, hoping another guy can fill in type of thing. Like, in a perfect world, James Hamlin is playing in Bakersfield. I'm glad he's playing well here. He's getting results, working for everything he's got, and that's awesome. I'm glad Sam Gagner is contributing and a part of the Oilers again. That is a cool story. But I think, Holloway trying to take that next step was looking like you starting to turn the corner before that injury.
Yeah, it was tough. Tough break for Holloway at this stage, right?
I think they would like to have those layers of depth as opposed to, well, let's move this guy out to create cap space and get the young guy and hope the young guy can perform and maybe play a little bit ahead in the lineup of where he should be. I don't think they want that, especially if it's still win now mode. I think you still probably want to keep Warren Fogle around. I think.
It is cutting off your nose to spite your face. I knew I'd come around to it.
You got it.
I also like this one.
Right.
You'd be robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yes, that's the one.
That's another one that you would look at as well. Terry says he loves me. I love you too, buddy. I miss you. I became an adult and I couldn't be playing, especially working with you now because you hate ball hockey.
I don't hate ball hockey.
Do you hate Terry because he's a really good goalie?
Terry seems like a lovely individual.
Terry's coached international ball hockey, so you must just despise him.
I do not.
What if he was your brother? Would you hate him then?
No, I don't. I love my brother. I love both my brothers equally. They're both special individuals and have their own personalities and unique traits that I appreciate and admire at all times. Terry, I think that's fantastic, and good on you. If it makes you happy and provides fulfillment in your life, continue on, sir.
This text is in and says, I think it's to watch my nose to sit on my... No, that's not it. That's not going to be it either. Funny text, but I'm not going to finish reading that one. So this break here, Tommy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good thing, but I necessarily don't think it's a bad thing either. I think you would like to keep playing because you're rolling right now, but somebody pointed out today on our show, I think, or maybe last night in the postgame, if McDavid is getting healthier, these 5 days could really kind of lock that up, that he's good to go now, right?
I think he is good to go, but yeah, more of that.
But give the body a little bit of help, it's not going to hurt, right?
Yeah. It's a weird quirk to this. This schedule has been stupid all year. There's Saturdays that have, I think we saw 8 games last week, and I know American Thanksgiving threw a wrench into the schedule, but the Tuesday, Thursday with 0 hockey was bizarre. The Wednesday in between, I think there was 15 games on the schedule. just a really strange part of it. And Dave Pagnotta came on Hello Hockey last week, and I was like, Dave, what the hell's going on with this schedule? You know, the matchups on Saturdays haven't been particularly great. There's been, like, really good ones, but for the most part, you know, Saturday's the big night, and you expect a bunch of great games. And that they've been duds most Saturdays. Again, there's been some exceptions, but Dave's like, arena availability, it just worked out weird. Last Tuesday, apparently only Arizona had the rink available at Mullet Arena, and they just didn't want to play, so they said nope. And the league's like, okay, well, Tuesdays, no games. So it's another quirk of the schedule, and you know they get a 5-day break, and it's not their bye week. So it's strange. This has been a favorable 2 months schedule-wise for the Oilers. They did not take advantage for the first little while. Maybe it helps them here going into what's going to be busy second half.
Hello Hockey tomorrow?
Hello Hockey tomorrow.
You and Belzy?
Yeah.
You got things planned up already?
Sounds like, well, Dave Pagnotta, he's our insider, and he's great. And then also, it sounds like Joel Ward.
Oh, good.
Who
Nice.
played with Belzy, will be joining us. He is with the Golden Knights, if I recall correctly, on the staff there.
Oh, make sure you tell him to go to hell. Right, that's probably what people were thinking.
Yeah, and then I'm hoping to land someone else, maybe on the women's hockey side to start talking about the PWHL.
Okay, nice.
And so I have a few friends in mind who are Olympic champions that maybe I could get them on.
Very nice.
One of them, that would be great. So we're working on that, trying to confirm it today.
So Hello Hockey is the next live content that we will have here for you. If you are listening right now on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you're looking for some entertaining sports conversation this afternoon, we got a replay of the Nielsen Show coming up here right away as well. Once again, huge thanks to everybody this week who made the 6 o'clocker lager.
So cool.
Not only an amazing beer right now, but maybe an amazing beer forever. So that's really awesome. And if you have not yet tried it, we have people texting in the entire bloody show, but picking it up, which is awesome. Keep moving it at Sobeys.
Keep those posts coming too.
This is delicious. It's delicious.
Yeah. I want like little video reviews and tag us.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I think the crew at Alley Cats appreciate it. Eric,
they're loving it. Alley Cats loving it.
Eric was saying he didn't think that this type of this wave of attention has been something that they've seen in a little bit. So let's keep it going, and we're going to keep promoting the crap out of it because A, it's delicious. B, it's got our logo and name on it, and it's in conjunction with a fantastic local business.
Huge thanks to One Putt, Popeyes, Boston Pizza, and, of course, Cool Bet for helping us out here with the oil stream. That'll wrap up another day inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios. Join Tommy tomorrow with Belzy and you too, Trev, for Hello Hockey tomorrow morning. And Nielsen will be back bright and early on Monday. And hey, all you nasty clubbers, your merch is ready. So
it's here.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of people coming by today picking it up all day.
And great to meet some Nasty Club members. Awanik did a great job. This Nasty Club.
It's so organized over there. It's amazing.
He was here till 11 yesterday.
It was 11 o'clock last night.
Matthew, good job. And
Quarter after 11. Now look at this. Round of applause for a guy who's already wondering if he's going to be commissioned again in our EST draft. So that's going to do it. Fun week, everybody. Thanks for the support. It means a lot to us. Pick up some 6 o'clocker lager. You will not be disappointed. It's absolutely delicious.
So
for everybody here at Edmonton Sports Talk, Tommy Gazzola, I'm Dustin Nielson. I will talk to you on Monday.